Welcome to Thursday's Huddle, guys. So yesterday I was going to actually talk about events because I had two people asking me about whether it's networking events, whether it's huge events, community events, whatever. And that's what I came prepared for with yesterday. And then I think about 14 seconds in, somebody asked a question about Google and led us down a 48-minute path to Google. So we're going to come back to this, and everybody on video, you can watch on your own. Everyone else can watch it on video, I mean. So first of all, have you guys, any of you guys done any events or worked any events? Yes. Tracy, what tell us about it? Tracy says yes. What, tell me about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Community event, it was Family Fun Day, was the most recent one I did.
Okay.
Bristol Park and Snellville, so it was outdoors, had C21 tent.
Yeah.
Table up, so.
What did you do in there? What were you doing inside your said she had the 10 by 10 C21 tent and for signage up and stuff, and she was in the tent. So what were you doing in the tent?
It's a question they would have, but you know, out walking around a lot. So
yeah.
I can meet the other vendors as well as the people that are there too.
Okay. So far, so good. This is where you could go off the rails. How many names and email addresses and phone numbers did you come away with? Okay. She said about a dozen. That's where the mistake is right there. All right. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But in the meantime, there's our girl. Jeanette has perfect attendance, by the way, so far in the life of this series. So we're just talking about events and who's worked events and who hasn't. Tracy just talked about one she worked, and everything sounded great. She had the C21 tent, she had all the stuff, but then she went off the rails with the fact that after the weekend, she only came away with 10 to 12 names and email addresses and phone numbers. We're going to talk about why that probably happened. Anybody else? Chris, Jeanette, you guys ever had worked at an event or had an event?
No.
Okay, good. All right. So events are it's a little, you know, there's active marketing and there's passive marketing. Events are a little bit of passive marketing. Okay. You are not going to, there's a little bit of active to it, but it's also, they're going to come over and talk to you. Okay. So you're part of what's there. You're part of what's the surrounding is. You're part of their day at that point. They're walking by artists, they're walking by you. Now, I'm going to start with some no's, some don'ts real fast. Okay. Conferences. Yeah. Do you have 10 by 10 tents and or the tables, table space and all that stuff? All right, good. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about that the big time in just a second. That relates back to why Tracy only came away with 10 to 12 email addresses and phone numbers and names. So if you guys choose, let's say you sell in Sandy Springs, that's kind of your thing. And that's where your target audience is, that's where your niche is. You want to be the go-to person in Sandy Springs, then you very well should be at the Sandy Springs Arts Festival that draws 100 and something thousand people every single year. To tie it back to some other agents here, Bob's at Alive in Roswell once a month, every third Thursday. He's at Alive in Roswell, and he is greeting people, talking to people, has his name tag on, staying in connection with his peeps. All right, Mike's been talking about it for almost 2 weeks now. Who your people are. That's who he knows where they are. They're at Alive in Roswell, and he goes there and gets FaceTime with them because all the emails in the world, all the phone calls in the world, all the text messages, even all the video sent by text message, none of it trumps face-to-face shake my hand, give me a fist bump. What you been up to? FaceTime. That's where you're trying to get with these people. Now, also realize that let's say there's 150,000 people at the Sandy Springs Arts Festival. I would venture to say 2% of them are probably thinking about buying or selling or moving in the next, 6 months. So you're not going to stand there and just shake hands with people that are future clients right and left. Right? You've got to do something to get them in. You got to do something to get them over, and you have to be able to follow up with them. The most important part of you doing an event is the follow-up, not the event. It's what comes after. All right. So I will tell you that I went to an open house last fall at the beginning of the school year. And my son was going into the 5th grade. And there were booths and tents that did it correctly. And there were booths and tents that did not. And I immediately could go down I could see the whole row and go, good, good, really bad, bad, mediocre, good, down the line. All right. One of the ones that did it well, the people were on the outside of the table so they could talk to people as they went by. They had a giveaway going on. They drew people over to their tent to talk to them. And I saw their registration box and it was slam full. Like they needed to empty it and start over again. Put it in a bag, put it under the table and start over. I saw ones with not a single slip for their giveaway, not a single registration slip in their box. And they were sitting in chairs behind the table, playing on their phones, talking to themselves, the two of them. They had no chance of getting anyone to participate. Now, unfortunately, that's the table we were going to go to because my son now thinks he's going to be a rock star also, and he wants to play guitar. And this was Guitar Club. They had a guitar sitting up on a guitar stand, and they were behind the table, not talking to anyone, forcing someone to come over to them and go, excuse me, if I'm not interrupting you, can you tell me a little bit about Guitar Club? What does it mean? What are the hours? What's the cost? They do not do what Guitar Club did. Like that is the worst approach to an event ever. You got to put yourself on the outside near the flow of people. You have a guitar, or not a guitar, a registration box on your table for something really cool. Now, what do you think people think is really cool to give away? What will people register for in a heartbeat? Amazon gift card, Chick-fil-A and Starbucks, TVs, better yet, Visa gift cards. It's cash. They can pay their power bill with it. It doesn't matter. It's going to help in any aspect of their life. That is the number one go-to for giveaways if you want to get the most names, email addresses, and phone numbers. Do a $250 Visa gift card. You can spend it any way you want. If the event is in late July, make it a back-to-school Visa gift card. Look, when $250 worth of your back-to-school supplies.
Like what's in the box or like what's in the case.
Yeah.
So you have to try to guess, like,
Oh, that's good.
Get whatever the price is in the box.
That's good. That's cool. And what do they have to do so that you can contact them if should they win? Name, email address, and phone number. That's what you want to get out of this. Okay. That's where you might have messed up, Tracy. We love you. But you only got 10 to 12. You should have been working those registrations hard to win a prize. Okay. It varies. You can change the prize up everywhere you go. The Maxwells are really good at this. When they go to events, and they will find events that they know about where there are parents even just bringing their children to participate. They go to lacrosse tournaments here in Roswell. People that play lacrosse, usually on the wealthier side of families, they go work this lacrosse festivals, and guess what? They don't give away a Visa gift card, which I just said was the #1 thing that you could give away. They go and buy, or they have a hookup through Leanne's son, who's a lacrosse coach. They get a hookup and they give away a really nice several $100 lacrosse stick. They get whatever the cool one is. I don't know. I can't quote you brand names right now. I know the coolest baseball bat right now that everybody has to have. But lacrosse sticks are the same way. And they will go get one of those and they will display it nicely on the table. What kind of line at a lacrosse tournament do you think they have signing up and getting, Mom and Daddy, put your name in this box. I want to register for that lacrosse stick. I hope it's called a lacrosse stick. I actually don't know the name of it. They line up to do it, but they tailor their prize to where they're going and what they're doing and the audience that's going to be there. No, all you have to do is buy a space at the lacrosse tournament through the, yeah.
Square, they have live music.
Mhm.
Now I was thinking of putting up a table and giving away gift cards.
You do have to check with, all that stuff is usually run by Parks and Rec. You do have to check with Parks and Rec in case there is something you want to do. And again, I'll refer back to the Maxwells. They had a great idea when they were like, look, so they buy banners in the outfield of the baseball fields here in Roswell. And they said, we don't only want to do that, we want to come set up the C21 tent on a real nice Saturday when the weather's like this, and there's 8 games back to back from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And we want to stay there all day and bring our grill and give out hot dogs to everybody. And I was like, that's a fantastic idea. Except they sell hot dogs 20 feet from where you'd be setting up. So the city's like, no, we sell like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hot dogs no. So that's one thing where sometimes what you may want to do may clash with the city's interest. So definitely check with Parks and Rec. You should always check with the governing body. Yeah, let me restate this, and I should probably cut this part, put it at the beginning. Never, ever, ever set up an event where they don't know you're coming and give you permission. All right. Guerrilla marketing can be cool. It can also get you sent packing. So don't get permission first. All right. So tailor the prize, tailor your giveaway if you want to increase the number of names, phone numbers, and email addresses you get at an event. And the agents here that do events, they vary so drastically. It's you got the Maxwells at lacrosse tournaments, you got Bob Clarkson Alive in Roswell, a street party that lasts for 4 hours. The lacrosse community, since Leanne's son is a coach in that community, she knows all about it. She grilled him on it, and once she came and told me, I know all about this sport, and I know what to give away exactly. We're going to try this. Once she did that, it's perfect. She said they get so much success when they do that. They don't miss one now. They could be one every weekend for 4 weekends in a row, and they're like there, set up. People come looking for them now. Like, is the Maxwell Adventure team here? Because they always give away the coolest gear. So that's how you want this to turn out for you. You want the people to notice when you're not at an event. Go, where's that booth that always does this? So get your prize right, get it in line with what your audience wants, at that event, and then get out in front of the table and talk to people and shake hands and fist bump people, answer questions. This is something else too that you guys have to think about. You've got to be prepared to answer questions when you're at an event. And I'm talking about random questions. Like, my roof is 16 years old. Think we need to replace it before we sell the house? You're in real estate. You're like, I'm not a roof inspector. You need to know answers to those questions. And you need to know about what the market's doing. Like, there's market updates that come out every week. Stay on top of that stuff. Because if somebody goes, hey, is finally more houses available now? Because we tried to buy one like 6 months ago and there wasn't anything on the market. Then you need to be able to go. Actually, in the last 3 months, it's gone up about the number of homes available has gone up about 2 to 4% each month. So yes, inventory is increasing. Might be a good time to look again. I'm happy with that. You need to know answers. Don't ever be like, I have to get back to you on that. I'll go find out though, or let me Google that real quick. That they're done with you. They'll walk on. They're going to walk off, walk on by. So don't let them down. Know the answers to the questions that are coming at you. All right, let's take some questions on events first. Tracy, you did one. You got any questions?
So, these people are going to the registration.
Mhm.
They're not using the paperwork, but using the QR code things.
That's a good question. She asked about can you use a QR code or a digital form of registration for the prize instead of paperwork. You absolutely can. There's all kinds of apps. You can put an iPad out there. There's all kinds of apps. There's all kinds of QR code registration that you could do. The best way to handle that is probably a Google form with a QR code to that form. I do not recommend you using an iPad or one device to have folks register on for 2 reasons. 1, it can run away. And 2, you can only do one person at a time. And some people may be interested in registering for it, but they also got a lot of stuff they want to see at the festival. Their kids pulling their arm to go this way because there's some bouncy houses over there that you can see. And then the food court's over that way. And dad's going, come on, I'm hungry. And everything. They're every excuse in the world to not stay and be 5th in line to fill out something on an iPad. QR code's a much better way to go because they have to do it right here. So they can just walk up and go, I registered to win the thing? Cool. And they just tap it, the QR code takes straight to the Google form, and you put in the information that you need, your first name, last name, email address, and phone number. Always say so that we can contact you if and when you win. It's, also put a little disclaimer at the bottom. And I'll get some good language for this disclaimer and I'll send it out so that you guys can have it. Because you want to put in small font at the bottom. You may receive marketing messages from the bottom. No one cares. They don't even read that stuff. Every time you get one of these, you click accept on terms of use. And I've asked for a decade and I can't find anybody that's ever read that. It's hundreds of pages that you can't even understand. There's so much legalese in it. So just put a little thing at the bottom. It's just a disclaimer. That's all. And you have to give them the chance to opt out too. So when you send them an email, send everybody an email. Thank you so much for stopping by my booth at the Sandy Springs Arts Festival. It was such a beautiful day. And we do have a winner of the $250 Visa gift card. Congratulations to Tom Smith from Sandy Springs or from Roswell and winning the gift card. And if you did not win the gift card, we'll work on the language. You can send them something to say that you enjoyed meeting them and you would be happy to be a resource for them, in the future and all that kind of stuff. All right. Just say something to them. Give them some good information in there too. Hey, here's the latest market update, by the way. A lot of people, that's I've told people before. A lot of people work these things thinking they're going to get somebody. They get depressed after day one because they're usually 2-day festivals when they don't. And that's where we found our realtor. That's who sold us this house over here. We lived in Sandy Springs at the time. He was set up at the Sandy Springs Arts Festival. Keller Williams, big red tent. And we were literally walking down the street, the main long street, that where all the tents are, the bulk of them. And we were talking about having a baby and need to buy something bigger than our condo. Our 3-story condo with floating stairs up the middle that obviously you cannot baby proof in any way, shape, or fashion ever without building walls all the way around it. So we were sitting there talking about it, and I just happened to glance over. It went 10 seconds, 12 seconds after we had stopped talking. And I glanced over and went, bet you that guy knows. And we just walked over and talked to him. And he was at our house the next night. I mean, so yeah, it works. And that dude paid a couple of $100 for his tent space for the weekend. Got a commission off of us from that. So yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it more if he did that and got a couple of 100 names and phone numbers and email addresses that now he can follow up with and probably get a couple of more out of. People they do business with people they know, like, and trust. You guys know that. They meet you face to face, and at least everybody in this room, I think, is very likable and very good conversationalist. So you got know and like out of the way right away. Follow that up with some good information on the market, and try to retain as many of those emails as you can in your system, in your CRM, without them unsubbing. Now you've got trust with these folks as well, with those as well. So yeah, definitely consider events as part of your marketing. There's nothing more powerful than face to face. Where else are you going to get face to face? I mean, does anybody think of another place you get face to face with that many people on a weekend? Yeah, your golf club, not 100,000, but the people those are tighter in your sphere too. So they get as much face-to-face time with those folks, obviously, as possible. But those kinds of crowds show up at those kinds of events and places. I discovered something interesting. Right the last year, I guess the year before that I left radio, we always had a couple of, we had a lot of huge events throughout Atlanta. But some of the biggest ones, like we had one called Wolfstock, which is a dog festival you bring your dogs to. There's 2 a year, one in spring in Sewanee and one in the fall in Smyrna. So I'd never really crossed my mind. We have hundreds of vendors and sponsors. Like there wasn't my department. I didn't keep up with them. But I would go walk around the event throughout the day, make sure everything's running smoothly. And I kept seeing, it was, the Humane Society, there was people who make custom dog toys and chew things and all kinds of stuff, veterinarians, everything was dog related. Right in the middle of this list, a row of dog related vendors, arrow exterminators in their arrow exterminators tent. And I always thought, this is weird. It's weird. Like, it's got nothing to do with dogs at all. Well, they were there when I asked the guy one day. I'm like, you guys come to this every single time? He was like, oh man, we love dogs. Like, both of us are dog people. The owners are like dog people. And he goes, and everyone here that has a dog, the large percentage of people here that have a dog have a house. And those people need exterminators. And I was like, well done, man. Well done. And they had one of those big wheels that you could spin, paid like $200 for it. They brought the same thing year after year. And they had prizes on the table that they had on the thing, you know, t-shirts or koozies or pins or hats or whatever. And there was always 30 people in line to spin that thing and get some prizes. It never like dawned on me the way that they looked at it. It was like, no, we're going where all the people are that have houses. And I was like, very smart. I love that. They were there for a decade, year after year after year after year. So you're doing the same thing. You need to go to places where people are that want to live indoors. And that's pretty much every big event that you in your little area. If you specialize in an area, if you're geo farming in that area, you should be at every single event that they have. Like, you want people to go, huh? No, that Jeanette person from Century 21 is usually here with cool prizes. They didn't come this time. Like, you want people asking that. You can't be at everyone in Atlanta. So for those of you that have not listened to any of the last 7 Power Talks about who your people are, if you still are like, oh, it's anybody in Atlanta, you can't do, and it's another reason why it can't be that. You can't do events everywhere in Atlanta all the time. You can't do them with enough frequency to build like noticeability, to build familiarity with the people that are there, like Arrow did with me and everybody else that attended that event year after year. So you have to pick them in your area, and that's the ones you want to go to. You want to go to them all the time. Give people the chance to meet you face to face, shake your hand, fist bump you, register to win a prize, take something away. If you have tchotchkes like Arrow does, you know, do giveaways, fun giveaways with them. Customize the prize if you want to, like the Maxwells, to really drive home participation and registration with these folks. If I was doing this at any of the tournaments that I'm about to embark on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday throughout the next 2 months with baseball, I would go out and buy one of these either Marucci Cat 10s or Hype Fires, and I would put that thing on display on a beautiful display on the table. And I would lock it down as it can get run off with, and I would put out registration for it. I would give it away at the end of the summer or something, and I would have the same one, and I would run it out there every single weekend and get registrations. I bet you by the in the next 8 weeks, I would get 1,200 to 1,500 registrants in those boxes. Anywhere from $400 to $700. Yeah. I'd get one of this like 650 one, 700. I would get it out there, and better yet, I would buy one probably for my son that I would give to afterwards. I would put it on display, and then I would do a thing underneath that said, you know, win $650 or $700 for to purchase a Hype Fire or whatever it is. And because every player has a different length of bat, so and different drop weight. So I could have the wrong size bat, somebody could win it and be like, can't use this. This is what I swung 2 years ago. Like, so I would do a certificate, but I would put the actual item on display. In fact, I believe that's what the Maxwells do with the lacrosse sticks too. I think they have one they display, and then they give away the one that's the proper size for the people. And it works. People eat that stuff up. I mean, just imagine the people coming over and looking at it and going, God, they're giving one of these away. Hey, come here, come here. You know, parents are running over. You need to register for this. Like, you would have people lined up at your tent the whole time, whatever that is. If it's an art thing, give away a great piece of art. You give away Visa gift cards. Give away something that's going to drive the attendees at that particular event to want to come to your booth and register. And you're just capturing data for your CRM like crazy. Bring it on. Now, if you do paper registration slips, I did get asked this question. If you do paper registration slips, yeah, you got to go type all that stuff into your CRM. However, you can have 5 pads across your table and 5 people could be signing up at one time. And that's a good thing. If you do the QR code, they can all obviously go and do it on their phone. But you are going to have a loss factor there when they take a picture and they go to it and they start walking away. And then little Susie runs off, 2-year-old Susie runs off, and they're like, oh God, and they close it and put it in their pocket, and they go get Susie back. They don't ever go back there again. The reason I like paper registration slips is because you actually fill it out and they can give it to you and you can go, oh, you forgot your email address. So sorry. And yes, and then you take it and you go, all right, you're in there, you're good to go. Good luck, and you know what? You have to sit down at the end of it and just dump them all out and go, okay, Chris, Kimmy, and then I have no idea what that says. Says something and put the email in. You'll miss a few, but it's okay because you got a big number to work with, right? I used to do that. When we were doing big prizes. We gave away a Porsche 911 one time, and I couldn't read some of the people's writing, and I was like, I think you probably want to do another one. Here's a slip. There, they refilled that thing out. So just give away small prizes that are of enough value that they are of meaning to them, and it's worth their time to stand there and do it. My wife hates that I fall victim to this every time because I'll see a jet ski on a trailer with a registration booth. I'm like, ooh, I'm signing up for this. And I'll go and fill it out. It's like $5,000 jet ski. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely signing up for this. And I'll put my stuff in there. And she's like, you ready for the marketing messages from whatever company that is? And I went, don't care. Once the drawing's over, I'll unsubscribe. But I want a chance at winning that thing. You know who doesn't have a chance? All them people that just walked by and didn't stop and fill out a form. So I get sucked into it all the time. Give away a prize that's of value, of meaning to them, and folks will stop by, and you will retain a certain percentage of them in your CRM and your database, especially if during the other part of that interaction, they liked you. And they were like, you know what? I like that Chris guy. Cool dude. And I got on a Cowboys shirt. He's a Cowboys fan. We sat there and talked about the Cowboys for 15 minutes. Yeah, I like that guy. And yeah, you know what? He's staying on his email list. He's going to be on there for until he buys another house because they got along so well. The number one takeaways from today: don't stay behind the table. Get out front. Have a prize that everybody would see value in winning at that particular event. And get FaceTime with folks, guys. Get FaceTime. All right, more questions. That was a good one, Tracy. What you got? Chris, you got anything? Yeah, cool. He gave him ideas, already looking stuff up right now. Like it. All right, Jeanette, what about you? Okay. Guys, Betsy? Aldo Axel? Told you I was going to call you that for that. TL, you got nothing? Nothing? That's some green back there. Does that represent money? Yes. So see this green dress. Awesome. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to talk about? We've got like 2-3 more minutes. Nothing? It's Thursday. Y'all ready for the weekend? Everybody's nodding. Yeah. Well, we're 35 minutes in, so we'll let it go. I want you guys have a great weekend. Here's your homework. We don't get together in here again until Monday. Here's your homework between now and then. Look in the areas in which you focus and sell and try to identify some upcoming events that you think you could go participate in and start thinking about what you want to give away. Yeah. Jeanette's got a question.
Some stuff you can use in office.
We do. We have a Century 21 tent, 10 by 10, pop-up tent. We have a table cloth that wraps around, and I think it's one of those tight ones that snugs to the legs. Looks really good. We have like that kind of sign. We have the flag sign that, you know, is tapered and kind of spins in the wind deal. We have all that kind of stuff. By the way, you request that stuff through the help desk, and Christina, she will let you know if it's being used. And if it's not, you say, I would like it this date for this event, please. And then she puts it on the calendar, and anybody else that comes up behind you wanting the same thing, just out of luck. Hey, you should take them with you on Friday, because events are like always Saturday, Sunday. So you just, when you leave here on Friday, you just take them with you and put them in the back of your car, because he's not coming to your event. I mean, what do you got? What do you got? Oh, he's in a Corvette. Yeah. You may have to make alternate plans, but Zach doesn't go off on the weekends to events. So you will have to take this stuff with you, but it's really easy to set up. These pop-up tents are super easy. I mean, they're, you know, you do have to do it, but it's, you know, 2 minutes, you'll have the whole thing up. And if I get enough with you guys out there at events doing this kind of stuff, you know, we may even look at some more stuff, but it's hard to get agents to go do it because it takes up their Saturday and Sunday or their Sunday. And they don't want to do it because they don't want to give up that free time. I know. Well, oh, the difference is, Chris says we're doing open houses anyway. What's the difference? The difference is open houses is like 2-3 hours, and this can be like 10. So, but the longer you're there, the more people that walk by you, exactly, and register for for what you're giving away and talk to you. So I just think the bang for the buck is absolutely huge. Actually, I had somebody complain when they were like, I'm not gonna do that event. It cost me $275 to get a tent space for the weekend. And I went, for both days? They're like, yeah. And I went, okay. So I looked up the numbers. I was like, 160,000 people on average go through there over 2 days. And you don't want to pay $275 for access to 160,000 people. I was like, okay. They eventually did it, talked them into it. I know, right? All right, you guys ready? Let's go to work.